Good morning, folks. Early as usual. Hope you can hear me okay. As I'm using my headphones this time, please indicate at some point. You know what I find? See what I find really interesting? How Barry is being thrown under the bus. All this time, support Barry. Free Barry J. Free Barry J. Free Barry J. Barry's being thrown under the bus by the Ego Meister. Wow. But he's paying a lot of attention to his hmm, ex girlfriend to be. Ha! Gotta love it, man. Now, here's what happened. I exposed his profile, some of it, and you might see it on the thumbnail, actually. Oh, let's see. Is it on here? Uh, no, I can't just post it, but you look at my thumbnail. Oh, there's more. However, it was a very interesting dating site profile of the Ego Meister, and it was really interesting what he was looking for. Couples, couples, couples. Sex don't matter. I mean, male or female, I guess, was on the second page of it. Oh my God. Wow. And right away, he had had a short on that, I think. And he right away ran to YouTube to have it removed. What is he trying to hide? As if we don't know his lifestyle. Look at my thumbnail. I got people. I got people actually that write me all the time. That very interesting information. I don't know. He's fathered like how many kids from four different women or something like that. This guy. Let's not mention any names on here. If you have an idea who I'm talking about, that's fine. Is he too old for sex? I don't know. I have sex. I'm a little older than him. I'm too old for sex. Well, some are. According to how obese and unhealthy they are. That's why I could answer that. But the profile was very interesting because this profile, mind you, is still active. Yeah. Now, he's married, has a mistress living with him, fathered a child with this mistress. Doesn't get better than that. You can't make this shit up. And he still has ads running. Apparently, he must have an open relationship situation, which, is his business. But I call it risky business. Absolutely. Always is problematic. Always is problematic. Guaranteed. And there was problems in the not too far past, actually, when some kind of a big financial payout of somebody very close to him he had to make so that she didn't take advantage of all his. Well, there was one relationship that was actually mentioned on his profile that he said that some woman had took him for all his money. How sad. I don't know what this guy is into, man. I think he's into anything and everything, if you get my drift. I mean, anything goes. Anything goes. Wow. Interesting character, huh? I'd say so. Then he throws Barry under the bus. He's more interested in females. But that profile said something about males. Oh my God. Yeah, he'll go either way, apparently, according to this profile, dating profile. He's got an active profile. Here, this guy is what supposedly, it's, I guess he's married to her? Who the fuck knows? All right. Puts businesses, of course, under the Filipinos' names because you can't own businesses in the Philippines, a foreigner, unless it's incorporated, a part of a corporation, or you can't own property unless it's under a Filipino's name. Apparently, something had happened with his wife, girlfriend, whatever the hell it is. It wasn't too long ago, and then some of you saw the postings on Facebook. He was absolutely getting down on his wife, I guess. He wasn't saying anything nice about her at all, but they kind of amicably settled it, if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, made it very amicable for her so that she did not pursue, because he already went through a relationship with a Filipina. I'm assuming he was a Filipina that took a shitload of his money. Isn't this interesting stuff? I'm sure it is to you. It is to me. But he got so upset with a short I had on it about his profile on a dating site that he went and to YouTube to say, hey, this is copyright. You can't put my dating profile on here. Got something to hide? Got something to hide, big fella? He's got plenty to hide. But it all comes out in the open. Remember, everything comes out in the wash. Been a very interesting couple of days, but let's get back to Barry's situation. Thrown under the bus. So he won't help Barry, but he'll help his girlfriend, soon to be totally ex, because, it's over. Face it, it's over. He says, forget about Barry. I'm going to help his girlfriend. That kind of lines up with his MO in life, doesn't it? Always involved around women, but this guy gets into couples. Yeah, his profile in there was saying, yeah, looking for couples. Mr. Moral. Mr. Moral. And the funny thing about this, all this time he's always yapping about somebody's living with a married woman. Really? Well, let me tell you something. Married or not, we got a stable relationship and we're monogamous. We're not into polygamy and all that crap. Swapping and swinging. He's into swinging, which, again, it's his personal choice. But what does that say about him as a person? How about you know, the institution of marriage? I know, Double Chin. He is a low life. This guy can't afford to talk about me. In fact, anybody else for that fact. Nor anybody else for that fact. He's in no position. None. Oh, hold on a second. It is morning to be alive. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? It's in books. I'm glad about one thing. I definitely try not to live my life with social complications as far as partners and stuff like that. It just gets too complicated, you know. When there's big money involved, you got to worry all the time about, whether this Filipino's after you for this and that. Oh yeah, the horrible things he said, and we'll go through some of the horrible things he said about my girlfriend in a second. Shall we continue? So, one of the things he was that, well, my girlfriend has 8 children in her life. She has 8 children, but at least they're from the same father. The interesting part, he was yapping about my girlfriend having 8 children. At least they're from the same, father. But my understanding is he's had children from like 4 different women. 4 different women. Can you imagine the financial demands of such a situation from these women? Of course, he needs to keep working because it wasn't too long ago that one of his current women, as seen on a Facebook, when he was really pissed. If he's talking bad about women on how to go after you for your money and all that other stuff, well, stop doing the things that you do. They deserve to wipe him clean, to be honest with you. Horrible man. See, the thing about, I always talk about money and power. Money empowers people, and they think they could do just about anything because they got more money than you. But it all comes out in a wash at some point. They wind up getting depleted of their money. I don't know what drives this guy sexually, but he wants to live this bon vivant lifestyle. Well, the fact is, he travels because his work pays it, because he goes on these little sales pitches all over the place, different countries. The bon vivant lifestyle. He couldn't be faithful to one woman because he couldn't even try. He doesn't have the capability of trying. What kind of a relationship is that that's bouncing around all the time? Complications all the time, picking the wrong Filipinas or so forth, whoever, and then having to face the fact that they got him by the balls financially, you know, especially if he fathered a child with them. Pretty amazing stuff as you learn as time goes by. What a horrible life. You could envy people with money. You could envy people with money if they don't use it as a power tool against other people. They live a good, clean life. I don't see where the guy's living a good, clean life. He looks at women as harem members. So it is a harem. People joke about that with the harem stuff, but it's true. He sees women as a harem. He uses his wallet to get these women because they wouldn't be interested in him otherwise. I don't see how. But money talks. Money talks. See, he's not a big man on campus. Might be a big man in size, but he's not a big man on campus because the only reason a woman gets interested in him is because of his pocket. Supposedly he has deep pockets, but It's been depleted a few times, as I understand. History has a way of repeating itself. So, Barry, got to get back to him because it's all related. As he admits, forget about Barry because he's not interested in helping a male. His empowerment comes from his pocket and how he can control females. He knows how to pick the desperate ones, and they see peso signs in their eyes. Oh, okay, I could hang with this guy. The bennies might be really good, and they generally are, if they don't mind sharing it with another two or three females. All the shit talk this guy's done about me, but if you really examine this guy's lifestyle, he's all over the planet. And I don't mean geographically necessarily. I mean, he can't keep his dick in his pants. Can't keep his dick in his pants. And the only way he could get these women is to flash his money. Say, I'm a big timer, man. I got a fat wallet. What do you need, babe? What do you need, babe? I'll provide it for you. Oh, that's a nice proposition. Think I'll jump aboard. See where it goes. How much money can I get out of this guy? What a fool. What a fool. AJG says emotionally and or physically inadequate. Yeah. So all this talk with this guy that we're talking about here. I mean, it's fun to listen to him in a way because if we've been following this guy for a long time, nothing but catastrophes with him, and always will be. You can't have a stable life and not expect people to take advantage of you when the denominator in the relationship is the mighty buck. They're bound to take advantage and get into an argument, which he did some time back, wasn't that long ago. There was his own Facebook. He wanted her to hear what he had to say, so he posted on his Facebook, which he knew she would read. The man took off from the Philippines, and they were separated. They were separated. He was basically saying, fuck this shit. How women take advantage of you. And apparently, somebody took advantage of him, as he puts it. I remember seeing that. Ages. He tries to fool everyone, but once again, when he looks in the mirror, he knows the kind of man he truly is. And that's true. I talk about this all the time. They're very good at talking about other people, but they don't self reflect. I don't care how much money you got. Doesn't mean you're living a good life. Maybe you can afford a good dinner. Take a chick out for dinner and impress her with fine wine and good dinner. All chicks will go for that, man. I don't care who they are. I don't care who they are. Why not? If somebody else is willing to pay. I remember when he was having a dinner with Tropical Tim, and he was having dinner with Tropical Tim. They were at a bar drunk. And I remember, and his wife, or whatever she is, still not determined, was there with his other mistress. And they were sitting there basically downing these chicks right in front of him. I forgot exactly what they said, but he was clearly basically saying that a money thing, right? That they do anything for a couple of pesos right in front of them. It was with Tropical Tim. It was with Tropical Tim. And he was even talking like that too against his girlfriend or wife or whatever she is to him. I remember that. I actually remember that. It was disgusting. I don't know if you remember that. I do. And they were drunk and drinking, having something to eat. And there were the women were just like right there in front of him. And the lowly things he was making reference to them for, it was disgusting. Just as disgusting as when he went out to a bar and there he was, how much respect that he has for the institution of marriage. He was grabbing on his woman's tits on the camera for show. And his own wife was on the dance floor having grinding dance sex with his mistress on camera for all to see. You must have seen that one. That was absolutely disgusting. I'll provide that information on another show. One thing at a time, sweet Jesus. Just a really, and I did a show on that. I said that was an absolutely disgusting display of disrespect for his wife. But she didn't care. Apparently, to have an open relationship or something. And if that's the case, then to each his own. Nothing to complain about, really. Too complicated. What's it be in a complicated relationship like that? You're not happy with one woman, then if you got married, why did you get married is the question. Oh, I see. There are benefits to marriage. Oh, as far as staying in the Philippines and when you're going to buy property, he needs somebody at ground zero to be able to do the paperwork because he can't do it himself because you can't buy property unless it's condos in the Philippines. Now you see what's happening. Now you see what's happening. Oh, yeah, he quickly went and took down my particular video that I put on there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He absolutely did. But then you got this guy here that you're going to see on screen, Mr. Barry Lee Jordan, kicking dust in Barry's face because he doesn't help males. His only interest is in females. He's got to keep the harem going, if you know what I mean. So he kicked dirt in Barry's face. And after being part of a big campaign to free Barry J, free Barry J, free Barry J, free Barry J. But he kicked mud in Barry's face. Barry's standing there, which I don't care if he's, honestly, changed my mind a lot, but I'm going back to my original thought. Let him stay in Big Baton as long as they can keep him there. I mean, in consideration, he's done a lot of shit to me. I don't know. The egotistical guy says it was a victory, Barry's victory, but we don't have to go into that again. We know it wasn't a victory. Obviously not. In every way, there was no victory, considering he owes me money, owes the court money, owes the immigration money. Victory? I don't think so. Not even close. Not even close. So Barry has to rot in jail now. But the egomaniac says that who had it better than Barry? That the detention center was the best place he's ever had. Well, there's some truth to that. He got laid in there, was able to drink, had all the amenities. Well, that's not where he is now. Things have changed quite a bit, I would say. They've changed quite a bit. His current situation. Yeah, I know. He called me a big loser. No, I'm actually a big winner because you see, I can keep a stable relationship. He can't. He doesn't have the capability of doing that. Horrible things in reference to my girlfriend, too. I got it all down. Horrible things he said. He's a guy who's saying that, well, she's got 8 kids and I'm the ATM machine. Well, what is he? He's an ATM machine to these women. Why do you think they're fucking with him? Duh. He talks about her having 8 kids. Well, he's got about what, 5 kids all scattered around? Different mommies. So, in other words, he can't talk and he can't afford to talk. He may have the money, but he can't afford something. He can't afford to talk about me or anybody else. He said he will serve you true justice. I think justice is happening to him every single day. When he gets into complicated relationship situations like he is, yeah, this happens all the time. You get too greedy, and I don't mean about money, you get too greedy with the women thing. And he really thinks in his mind that these women are interested in him because of his swarthy good looks or something. Not. They're interested in his money. And this is a true case with him. My girlfriend, it's not a money situation with me. It never was. She never knew what I did for a living, never knew how much I had in the bank. She never knew anything when I first met her. There's nothing she doesn't know about me. We're very honest with each other. He's not been honest. When he used to make all these damn trips to different countries, what do you think he's been doing? And he's a married man, right? Supposedly. Everywhere he went, no matter what country, you could probably rest assured that he was throwing his wallet around and screwing as many women as he can. We make joke or we talk about ego. He's got a huge ego. But the ego comes from the thickness of his wallet. That's where it comes from. Anthony says that Chanita did an exercise video and was sporting some big time camels. So, all right, well, who cares? The point is, the guy is good at dishing it out, but he can't take it. I'm going to get even with you. I would not want to be him. I don't care about how much money he has. I could not live his life. I could never live the way he does. The guy who spews righteousness all the time, but he doesn't practice righteousness at all to anyone. He's used women like fucking rubbers. Use them and throw them away. But apparently he don't use rubbers because of all the children he has. So there you go on that. Then when the women get pregnant, they're obligated to him. See how this works? That's how the harem forms. Because they're obligated to him now because they need the financial support. They need the financial support. They need the financial support. There you go. The money allows him to live out his perversions. Absolutely. There's no question about that. I told you, we have all types here on YouTube proven. All types. That like to talk about other people, but then when you examine their lives and part of their lives that they don't want you to know, but it always comes out, that not everything is picture perfect in their life, is it? Not at all. Not at all. Well, he says, oh, he's not going to be talking about me anymore. Oh, bullshit. Bullshit. He likes to show pictures of the gym, but we never see him working out. Just his girlfriend. Just his girlfriend. He likes to hang around with a male girlfriend, no names. He watches, well, his boyfriend. Let's call it his boyfriend. He likes to watch his boyfriend work out. Do you ever see him working out at a gym? No, it's always his boyfriend that he likes to show working out. Just perversions up the yin yang with this guy. What's what day we on with Barry? We on the 5th day, 6th day in Bickerton? I haven't kept track. Anybody kept track yet? He went in on what day? Try to remember the day he went in on. And of course, the perversive guy says that, yeah, I've my girlfriend's talked to his girlfriend, and he's having a gay old time in there. Well, maybe literally. Well, he likes it there. It's a better situation than his lockup he had at the detention center. Gets to use his phone for 3 hours a day, which is all bullshit. That's called contraband. They will allow you there. It's a lot strict to call your lawyer or contact a family member, but you ain't going to go on YouTube. You're not going to be doing those shows on YouTube. Not at all. He went in on the 10th, and today is, I don't even keep track of the days. What is today? 16th or? So maybe he's in there, what, 6 days now? I think today's the 16th, isn't it? I never looked at the calendar. I don't really have any reason. Yeah, it's kind of like that when you retire. Okay, so he's been in there. Today begins the 6th day of his new adventure. I don't know. He should rot in fucking hell for all I care. I forget taking a soft side and saying, well, it's horrible he's in there. Nah, fuck it. He deserves everything he's got coming to him, man, and more. Conjugal visits every Saturday. Well, I don't know which day, but it's a matter of getting his girlfriend to travel all the way to Manila over there to do it. That's going to cost money and lodging, whatever it might be. I don't know. Might be a problem. Double chin. Like that double chin. Oh man. You know, when the truth is out, they try to hide it. So they'll try to do a copyright on something that you put out on your channel. That's what they do. You can't hide the truth, man. You can't hide the truth. And the truth about this guy, I think it's called womanizing. You know, you can call it a lot of things. Womanizing, you know. He tries to live the life of these like really rich guys, you know, where they're a woman at every port and stuff like that, and trying to maintain the look of an honest family man. But obviously, they're not an honest family man at all. I just feel sorry for the kids. I don't know how many fathers they, well, how many, I don't know, I can't, I'm even talking about it just like, it's so fucking mind boggling why somebody wants to complicate their life like that by screwing every woman they can, hanging their wallet there like a carrot in front of a donkey. What a life is that? Guess it's tea time. I just wouldn't want to complicate my life that way. One relationship is good enough. One woman is good enough. It gets too crazy when you're gonna be cavorting with all different women outside of your marriage. And these people preach things like the Bible and shit like that. And what are they doing? They commit every sin in the fucking book. So just because somebody has more money than somebody else does not mean in any form or way that they're living this great life that they try to depict to their viewers, because they're not. He's had a number of financial complications having to do with women. Numerous. AGG. As bad as Bikichan is, and it is bad, I'm hearing a regular Filipino prison is even worse. Regular prisons are where the gangs are. He won't be separated from them. Probably not. Yeah, Double Chin says, I can't believe he called your life to be a failure. No, his life is a failure. Let's put the money aside. His life is a total fucking failure. I don't know what he calls a failure. When you have managed to get your shit together, you found a woman that's your lifetime partner, and you got a great relationship, and you stabilized your life, one place, not all over the planet, moving from one country to another to hide from something or somebody or whatever. You remember he moved initially to Thailand or Vietnam to get away from his wife because there was some financial dealings going on that he was totally against. Apparently, there's something to do with money involved, and he was basically ragging on his own wife and just knocking her on Facebook. Well, when you're going to do underhanded dealings, if you're going to be balancing a number of women in your life, you're going to get trouble. There is jealousy among women too, that who's getting a better share of his wallet than the other one. There's always going to be problems. You're giving too much attention to the other one. Then he has a child that's born into this situation. That confuses the child. Well, who's my mother? Why is this lady here? It's not healthy for the kids. It's just not healthy. Who's Big E? Who says we're talking about Big E? We're just talking about a guy. It's shoe fits wear it. That's who it's about. Yeah. And who's he to make judgment on my life or talk even about my girlfriend? And he talks about how she's a married woman. Okay. He's married, but he's cavorting with other women and even got one pregnant and has a child now from that woman. And he's to make judgment on what the marital status of my girlfriend is or how many children she has. At least they're from the same father. Who's my mommy? I thought you were my mommy. Oh no, you're my mommy. I get confused. The kids will be saying, I don't understand this relationship, Daddy. Why do you have another woman living with you? Sick, 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 sick. That's all I can say on that. Sick, perversive behavior, man. It's just horrible, horrible behavior. So Barry gets mud kicked in his face. He said, I'm not worried about helping Barry. I'm going to help his girlfriend. Well, duh. Yeah, female. He didn't have any interest in helping a male out. Because if he does favors for a female, she's going to be greatly in debt to him. Perhaps another member of his harem, a recruitment, shall we say. Another recruit. That's how he works it, man. That's how he works it. He'll find people that are gullible, naive, or in a bit of trouble that he'll bail them out. He'll bail them out. Now you owe me. Region 6 is such a twisted, perverted setup. I agree. We're not mentioning no names on here, sir. We're talking about a particular individual. We're not mentioning any names on here. Sorry you came in late on the show. But to make judgment on my life, telling me that I'm unhappy, how do you tell me that I'm unhappy? Or that my girlfriend is unhappy with me? You can't put words in her mouth. You can't put anything in her brain. You can't control her feelings because you don't like me. Because I got the genuine article here. He doesn't like that. He's not happy if somebody's happy because he's not leading a happy life himself. Mr. Bon Vivant lifestyle, you know, he's not stable mentally or any other fucking way. He's not stable. He can't be with just one woman, apparently, by his track record. Imagine his mistress is living with his wife and him. And he had a baby with his mistress. And this seems okay for his wife. Well trained, huh? Well trained. But the money is good. The money is good. The money is good. The money is good. Stay for the ride. Stay for the ride. Why not? Life's short, right? There you go. Well, he knows how to pick the most vulnerable Filipinas. That's how he gets them in his so called harem. He's just a sick motherfucker, is what he is. He has no fucking values whatsoever. He has none. No morals for a supposedly religious guy. The preacher, who preaches all this goodliness but doesn't practice it. Stop mentioning names on my show. If you know who we're talking about, fine, but I'm not mentioning names on my show and I'll remove your comments. Yeah, he's a fucking predator. What the fuck you think he is? He's a major fucking predator. Major predator. But like many, got a fat wallet, and you will utilize that fat wallet to your advantage, right? Is that how it works? You bet it is. That's exactly how it works. He's not the only person that does that kind of shit. That's anybody with money uses that as a tool for relationships, to get into one, to keep them in the relationship. He dangles his wallet in front of them, like I said, like somebody's dangling a fucking carrot in front of a fucking mule. That's what he does. I couldn't live life that way, man. It's either the chick is into me or she's not, you know. Not put money as a denominator to keep her in your life. I couldn't handle that. To each his own and all that, but that's not me. That's not what I'd feel. That's not what I would feel comfortable with. I would not feel comfortable with that at all. Not in the least. Not in the least. it makes your life extraordinarily complicated. Life itself can be complicated, but why complicate it more? Because every time you dangle that money carrot in front of some chick's face, you just set your future. And always going to be some financial challenges as a result of that when they get pissed off at each other. She's going to come back and expect a little bit of appreciation, if you know what I mean. Money, money, as much as they can get. That's not living a good life. Or some guys may say, oh, yeah, man, they're great to have these women. But the only way you can get them is to wag your fucking wallet in front of them. I just don't. I just don't see the glory of it. Really, I don't see the glory of it at all. Okay, let's see. I got to read comments here. He was raised religious, probably groomed. That's why he's such a creep now. And he says, I keep on telling you. Yeah, telling people he was dieting, working out, 10,000 steps a day. Then he shows his face by accident and gained 50 pounds. Ha ha. Region, what do you not understand about? Don't mention names on it, because I may not be talking about whoever you're talking about. I'm talking about Fred Flintstone. So, his dating profile was rather interesting. Still has it up. It says on there he's interested in couples. Yep. Couples. That's his MO. So, in other words, he's a swinger. And he'll get women to swing his way by flashing the cash. Apparently. I have to look at the second page. Somebody sent me this. I want to find that second page because the guy who sent me this said that he's interested in males too. It's not a good image when he's hanging around. His best buddy is another male that's known on YouTube. I'm guessing he swings both ways. Forget about legalities. Come on. People are going to do what they want no matter what. Hold on. All this shit about moral turpitude. Give me a break. He's the most immoral person you could ever know. Poor Barry. Poor Barry. How many people are kicking up dust in his face? And this fucking immoral moron is talking about how unjust it was for Barry Lee Jordan to have spent 2 years in a detention center. So concerned that he doesn't even want to even help. Good morning. Doesn't he want to help him? What does that say about his character? Don't get me wrong. I mean, Barry could go rot in hell for all I fucking care. Well, good morning to you too. Hold on. Okay, back. There's a lot I could say on here, but I'd rather not. I think I've said what I needed to say. People making judgment of other people, well, they just need to take a good look at themselves, examine all the crap that they've done. It was either illegal, immoral, or unjustified, or whatever. You set the pace in your life. You set your own future by the things you do. Then you pay later. You either pay now or pay later, one way or the other. Whether it's financially, morally, or whatever, legally. These are people that can't afford to talk about anybody else at all. Okay, I should read. Betcha he'd like to clean up the old ladies after the dirty deed. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Jerry Seinfeld. Right. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I know exactly the line you're talking about. I love the way they did that on Seinfeld. What had to do with gays and stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay. They had to do that. Yeah, I know where it came from. I know exactly. How's the audio, by the way? I'm just using my headset. Is it adequate anyway? Yeah. I just didn't take my headset off this morning. I'm still walking around with it. I figured let me just do a show with it. Basically, I'll use the headphone in the morning if she's still sleeping. I don't want to disturb her with playing videos or anything on there. She was only 16. Remember that song? If you guys even had a clue all the horrible, disgusting, perversive shit that some of these well-known YouTubers have done in their life, I'm not sure if you'd be shocked or maybe you just think it was expected but you maybe would be shocked. These clean characters on here with high morals, the shit that they do on the side that they don't exactly talk about but comes out sometimes accidentally and sometimes purposely. Oh, is Popeye doing a simulcast again? Bless his heart. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. That was really strange. Why couldn't Nico visit him? The other day he did a show only about 20 minutes away from Popeye, but he couldn't go and visit him. He couldn't go and visit him. Popeye must have some strict rules. We'll be pretend friends or adopted son, whatever, but don't come by my house. I don't want to see unless you see my living conditions. Possibly a cripple or something, you know. They got a lot to hide. They all have something to hide. They all got skeletons in their closets, man. That's what makes this so fucking humorous. She was only 16, but they loved that song. You know what that song's about? How this guy fell in love. He was like in his 30s or so. How he fell in love with a 16-year-old girl. He just couldn't help it. He didn't care what the age was. You know, then there's the morals involved. What people think about that and all this other stuff. Well, there's a limit, man. You don't date a 16-year-old. And technically, you could date an 18-year-old, but she's still a kid. You're 30, you're 40, you're 50, you're 60, you're 70, you're 80. You have no right dating an underage woman like that. You have absolutely no fucking right at all. It's not the righteousness comes out from a legal book I'm talking about. It's that, but there's you're with the morals again. Okay, the people with all these morals, they don't practice what they preach. If the flesh is willing, they'll go for it. They just got to butter them up a little bit of cash, and they're good to go. But how do you live with yourself is the question. How do you live with yourself when you're going to be fucking, you know, an underage Filipina? How do you live with yourself? I don't know. Go figure. All these people with again, the moral turpitude, they have none. They have none whatsoever. Yeah, I think I voiced out myself this morning quite well. Glad you liked it. But I'm just, it just goes to show you that those that point accusing fingers to other people usually have a lot to be accused of. When you really deeply examine their past, both legal, moral, sexual, you name it, they all have flaws in their past that they don't want exposed. But eventually, as I said, it comes out in the wash. It always does, and historically it has. We got sick people on here, man. Guy's in love with his grass. Another guy who's simulcasting me, still thinking back to the good old days in Subic Bay when he sat around that round table getting his dick sucked. He's still masturbating it to this day. 40 years of the past. What happened to this guy's life? What turnaround, what disasters fell upon this guy to be living the life he is, to wait till I put a show on so he has something to do, something to say. Well, his soap operas on TV, they're all extinct now. He has to continue the soap opera of his life. So he does it on YouTube. Well, Princess Anne is back. Did you get money yet from the big guy to try to do a case on me? Do tell. And the guy has to worry about his profession too, because this shit gets out. Can complicate your life in many ways. I think he understands what I mean. I think he understands very well. Just have to dig into his past just a little bit more, and I'm sure I'll find out some very interesting things. And so far, I've certainly have. I mean, look at the dating site he's on. Still active. He's married, still active, has a mistress and a child through a mistress. And he's on a fucking dating page, a dating profile. And on there, he's looking for couples and for men too. He's looking for couples. What's the matter? Your woman can't satisfy you? Then why are you with her? Why did you marry her if you're married at all? Good question. Some people, one isn't enough. You know, they have this personality, or their ego, shall I call it, is quite large, as big as their size. And they got to satisfy this ego. The only way they could do that is empowering himself on women, empowering himself. Again, that carrot being dangled in front of the mule. Let's look at it as a wallet. A wallet. I wouldn't be so proud of myself if money was the denominator. The only way of getting women is to flash money in front of them. It's shallow. Well, he's a shallow guy to begin with, so. But to me, it's extremely shallow. It doesn't mean that you are a chick magnet at all. But they try to convince themselves that they are. But the only way to get this woman, taking them out for expensive dinners and hotels and whatnot, pretty much letting them know, hey, man, stick with me. I got money. Good times ahead. Stick with me. Well, if she's desperate enough, she'll stick with him and say, why not? The money's good. He's paying me, gives me a salary to stay with him, takes care of all my children. She got a job on her hands, but she signed up for it. People like that, they sign up for it. They get what they get. Six days. Today's the sixth day in the clinker. Barry Lee Jordan. I'm sure he's got a pretty good idea of what life is like in Bicutan. He should keep a diary, I think. He should keep a diary. Stefan, I find that it may. So you're talking about Big E now. Okay. Stefan says, I think it's amazing that Big E did not get mad at Barry with all the bad things he said about Filipinos, but he is mad at you. Yeah. Imagine that. There's nothing that makes any sense on here at all. This is YouTube, okay? People are going to say what they're going to say and do what they're going to do. But they regret it in the end. Barry sure did, didn't he? He sure as hell did. He's not having a good old time, and I'll guarantee you that. If you've done any research on Bicatan at all, you'll understand that, you know, he's part of the population, the general population, period. And, you know, word gets out in there how he talks about Filipinos, man. He's in big trouble. And the other thing about Barry, in a situation like that, Barry does not like being told what to do. He does not like authority figures. And he's in a prison now. That's all authority. You do what they say or you get the fucking paddle. You get the paddle. He's yet to get it if he hasn't already. He doesn't understand. He's at the lower end of the totem pole and there is a newbie. He can't open up his mouth in any derogatory way in that place. It's like the Coconut Wireless in Hawaii. Things get around about you in there. They sure do. And I don't know how long he's going to be in there, but he's going to pay the price. That's guaranteed. Anthony says information on Bicutan has gone viral since the arrest of that Russian. Oh, God, that's all I hear on here now. That Vitaly guy, he's in big ass trouble, man. Because the president himself and all these people, you know, and even the director, you know, immigration chief, you know, he's furious with that guy. And it's not a matter of uh, not just the stunts he did, but his smug attitude about what he did and how he's down the Filipino people in this country. And they're going to make an example of him for sure. Immigration, certainly. Well, they're going to make an example of him, and the courts are going to make an example of him. I wonder how Slick is doing in there. I hope horrible. I'm sure it is horrible. I saw the president of the Philippines talking about the Russian. Well, if you get the president of the Philippines talking about this guy, then you know it's bad, bad news. Bad news bears. Bad news bears. He's fucked, but that's what he gets. Everything for fucking money people do on here. You know, it ain't like Mr. Beast show. They do all these challenges to make money. You know, Mr. Beast runs a clean, clean channel, as well as some of these others that are very extraordinarily rich from their efforts. You can't go into another country and do the things that Vitali, whatever, did, and the other guy, Johnny Somali, and even Barry Jordan. You can't do that either, as he found out. Oh yeah, they say it's a victory for Barry. I just don't see where it's a victory at all. But they got to say that. Just what else could they say? Because when Barry got defeated, they got defeated. The trolls got defeated too at the same time. Yeah, when the president starts talking about it, then you got some big problems, bro. Goes the rest of his life just to make money. Just to make money. You're going to do stupid things like Barry opened his mouth just to try to get subscribers and AdSense. And where did it wind up him? He wound up getting caught with the immigration. He wound up getting 5 charges. So I won 5 cases against Barry. Each charge, I don't know if you understand this. I don't know if you guys understand this. Each charge is like an individual case. That's how it's in court. So he lost 5 cases I had against him. Just because it was one court trial doesn't mean it wasn't 5. There was 5 cases. Each count, there were 5 counts. It was an individual case in itself. That's what it was. He lost 5 cases. And by pleading guilty, he sealed the deal, played right into my hands. He sealed the deal on his future. The point is, he doesn't have a future. Who knows how long he's going to be in Bikitan? Maybe the judge didn't sentence him to prison the way it turned out, but he wound up there anyway. Isn't that rich? He wound up there anyway. Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Was that a new one? I didn't see anything new this morning, but no, I saw one that was interesting, but yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, Ricky hasn't been posting much. Everything's too hot out here. The heat is too high going on right now. And because the Barry case is over, that's why Ricky ain't talking about it or posting a lot about me and Barry because, well, it's not going to get him any donations. He understands that. He knows mathematics very well. It's not worthwhile for Ricky to do any more posting against, about me and Barry because that's all over now. Well, sort of, kind of, it is. In some ways, it's not, but we won't get into that. But anyway, that's what's going on in the corn community. All these righteous people. Oh, they love what I named them, the high roaders. They love that entitlement. The high roaders who are really taking the low road in their life. They just kicked dust in Barry's face just like Ricky did. That guy don't have a snowball's chance in fucking hell. I could say poor sucker to him because he believed in all these people that supposedly wanted to help him, but they didn't want to help him. They wanted to help themselves by ridiculing Barry. That's what they did. Making promises they didn't keep. Making Barry think he had allies out there when he had none. Brevis is not even his ally. He never was. When Brevis came to my house, you probably heard it on that recording I had, what he was saying about Barry. Barry was used and abused by the whole community. Now he's paying the ultimate price. Although he wasn't sentenced to prison, he had to go there because of the renovation of the detention center, but still, he made it to Bickerton. I mean, to my shock and disbelief, that it didn't have to come to a hearing, that it didn't have to come to that, which saved me a lot of money and time and everything else involved in continuance of the case. But it all just worked out, didn't it? Oh, Brevis ain't going to travel to Manila to see him. But then again, the attention seeker that Brevis is, he would do that. He would do that. He'll call it a conjugal visit. Let me in here. It's a conjugal visit. Are you family? And here's the thing, too. In Bickerton, the only people that can see Barry is family. That means that his soon-to-be ex-girlfriend, to my understanding, can't go in there. It's only for family members. Family members only. Relatives, family members. That means that she can't even go see her special man. God, they gotta be killing him. People pay the price for what they do, don't they? They certainly do. You gotta love it. Sometimes you don't have to do anything at all, and it just all kind of falls in your hands without even much effort, as it was for Barry. He provided me with all the evidence I could possibly ever have and more for like 5 other cases. No, he don't have any blood relatives out here. So he's not going to have any visitors at all. He can't. They can't visit him in there. It has to be family members only. And if he's married, which he's not, the wife could come and they could have conjugal visits and all that shit, but he's not married. He's not married. Meanwhile, his girlfriend is having a gay old time, man. She's out there visiting Baguio and traveling around with her family while Barry's incarcerated. Well, she's depressed and has PTSD. She does a very good job on having all this fun stuff, going to Baguio, different places with the family. Oh, she's hurting. Oh, she's hurting. She's hurting bad. Oh, that depression. Princess Anne says Big Wallet is a troublemaker. His show is kids. He had other child and mistress. Yeah, well, we all know that. Can't keep his dick in his pants. Now, do you think he'd be able to get these women if he was broke as a skoke as Barry? No fucking way. There's no fucking way. So at least these people to believe that they're big men on campus because of their wallet. That's what it really comes down to. Let's just bottom line this, okay? Let's bottom line this and bring a close to this. When you got a lot of money, you flaunt it around, and that's how you get the women. Otherwise, they wouldn't have any women at all. They would have a difficult time. You got to look at the guy, what he looks like. You got to know what his personality's like and his size. His size matters too. He's a big guy. He could crush a woman. A woman don't want to get involved with that, but if there's money involved, they're willing to take that tender little crush now and then. You know what I mean? Or get ripped up inside. Maybe it's worth the cash. It has to be a little bit of to be made sacrifices, shall I say, to get to that cash. Have I said anything that doesn't make any sense on this show this morning? So who's really the victor? Yeah, you can look at it any way you want. I never thought it was a contest to begin with. But there's some people that are not happy with the circumstances. I'm going to get you attitude. I'm going to get you attitude. You fucked up with Barry, but you're not going to fuck up with me. You'll see. You'll see. You'll see. Sick. Sick, 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 sick people. Know what I'm saying? I think you do. Well, how interesting. The busy Beavers had a few notifications from YouTube regarding a couple of videos I put out. Of course, Robert Clausen, who has more time on his hands than most people on here, will even report a video that has nothing to do with him. Then, of course, Eric, Big E, didn't like that I copied his little video out there at the gym where he was committing cyber libel against me and Gilda, and he tried to make a removal request. How they want to hide the truth. How they want to hide it. Fascinating. Sorry, you're catching me at salad time. Yeah, so I had a couple of removal requests. Well, removing it from YouTube is one thing, but having copies of it is a whole nother story. The truth is out there, my man. Can't always hide the truth. Things have a way of catching up with you. I try to get my videos removed, but it doesn't mean I don't have a copy of it. That's where you fail. Hello, Reading. Well, at that time of the broadcast, I said no names. No, I'm just talking about Robert doesn't always... Robert will report anything I say on here. He goes through like a script and so desperately to try to get my channel striked. But if my channel was striked, what would he have to talk about? Get my point? Yeah. So I just went to my Gmail and I seen a couple of things from YouTube. Oh yeah, it's great. Gives their email addresses and everything, and who made the report. Like it's never going to show that out, right? So I know exactly who it's coming from. On the one hand, they like to see me get off YouTube. Let's say we had 3 hands. Okay. One hand, they want to see me get off YouTube. The other hand, they need my material to make their material. Now, a freak of nature, if you have a third hand, well, it's like they're trying to suppress your opinion. Oh, there he is. That's why she didn't get him. Hold on a minute. She said she did, but she didn't. Hold on. All right. Okay, pardon me. Had a big old spider on the window that I thought she killed in the room, but it was on the screen, so I kind of escorted it out the window. Okay, both. You know the video where Big E's just kind of narrating and he's at a gym watching his boyfriend Mick? Yeah. Well, because I did a remix of that and I put it on, they were Johnny on the spot to try to hide and suppress what I put on there. Got nothing to hide. Why are they complaining? Interesting. Then it lets you know exactly who made the report. Popeye actually spends a lot of time making reports on people. He's got that much time on his hands. Just amazes me. I don't know what he does all day. But it seems that some of these people, I mean, they're like right there when somebody puts something on. Seriously. Guess you look Chinese. I'll say it again. I never knew she was Filipino. I always thought she was Chinese. Well, that's not an insult unless you hate Chinese people. It's not an insult at all. Actually, I dated a Chinese gal back in Seattle. Popeye is obsessed with me, man. Wow. It's so sad because life is so short. And this is what these guys are doing with their time. I'm always amazed. I'm always amazed. Master Puppets. So April went to see an attorney a few minutes after you live stream where you didn't say her legal name, and they have a slam dunk case. Get real, Eric. Exactly. And on Holy Week. Hardly anybody works on Holy Week. Well, this is less than a week, really. But when you really look at it, I'm glad you caught on to that. Yeah. Yeah. Slam dunk, too. Slam dunk. It's all a bluff. Ego just wants, he always wants attention. That's why they call him Big Ego. Yeah. Do you know that in his particular field, now 85,000 may seem like a lot to some of you people, but in the mainstream America, his exact job title is an $85,000 per year job. Now, per se, that's like still you know, like $7,000 a month, which is not bad, but he's not doing as great as you think he is. His exact job entitlement of what he has for the company he's working for, that's about the average. What he's making out of country, and his only real benefits are, I would certainly assume that they pay for his travel. Yeah, that's a benefit. And then I guess you earn air miles too, so you could benefit from that. But he's had some hard times with women that were taking his money from him too. He had some hard times that he didn't want to talk about, but we saw this on a Facebook post of his. What was it? I don't know. Was it 6 months back? I'm very bad with time. Well, he was talking down about his mate. Very, very big time talking down about her. Now, somehow he was taken advantage of by his money. Wow. Seriously. Yeah. You told that air miles? Sure. Hello, Hugo. Her prior videos of her lesbian bisexual tendencies is probably what he has. Well, that's your comment. Let's see, if I say that, I can get in trouble. But you said it, I didn't. And I'm not going to repeat it. But, you see what you see, and you can make your own evaluations from it. But I do know that on his dating site profile, I forget the name of the site, but I showed you part of it. And this is during the time he's in a relationship. He's looking to meet couples. Well, that would indicate swingers, right? So, I guess that's what he's into. But, like I said, that's his thing. That's his thing. Is it really for us to judge? Well, it's not for us to judge. But when somebody like him makes judgment of us, that seems to be okay for him. Right? Yeah. I'm not, judging him what he does with his dick and who he does it with, how many babies he wants to have with all these different women and shit. That just creates havoc in your life. That's all that does. That just creates fucking havoc. Eventually, there's always some financial problem. You have a problem with the chick, man. That's exactly what's going to happen. And that's what happened, what is it, about 6 months ago? Everybody showed that Facebook page what was going on. And what he said in there. I read the damn thing. Regent says that he's looking for women, couples, and trans women. Regent says he's a pervert. Well, everybody has to make their own evaluation. I'm going to shut my mouth on that. And you can make your own evaluation. I already made mine. It's all that matters. I'll keep it to myself. But I can see through this guy like he's transparent. Absolutely. He tries to give this air of a successful man. Yeah, a successful man. I mean, if you want to compare, I've never made the money that he makes. I never made the money in my life, ever. Goody two-shoes for him. But his lavish lifestyle that he tries to live, and holding that carrot, which is his wallet, in front of women in order to get them. First of all, it's sad just to say that somebody has to do that. But secondly, when things go bad and you're like in a multiple relationship, a polygamistic relationship, and you got your wife and you got your girlfriend and you're living in the same fucking house, and then he's having a kid with the other one. What the fuck does it say about this guy? Need I say more? Then he has ads on a profile
Still looking for more women? Boy, is this guy, what is he on? Is he oversexed? I mean, what's the deal with that, man? Jeez, I mean, I like sex, but come on, man. Really? You're so into that shit that he's got to be taking something. I don't know what he's taking. I think he's on testosterone pills or something. I don't know. That's just my wild guess. I mean, look, I like sex like anybody else, but Jesus Christ, I'm not obsessed with it, and my partner isn't good enough for me that I have to put ads on a dating application somewhere looking for more women when he's got one at home, and that should be the only one he needs. Not to have a mistress at the same time. I mean, what the fuck? Hugo says, true, he goes after the low-hanging fruit. Oh, Hugo says, firstly, he said, he made threats about a year ago to file charges against you over comments about one of her and her other baby mama dance video. That was some video, boy. Wasn't that some video, man? True, he goes after low-hanging fruit. Hugo says, he's a big dude with Frankenstein looks. Dr. Love. Yeah, I remember that. Master Puppet says he looks like Jonathan Winter's illegitimate son. Yeah. Regent says, Jay Stillman threatened Ego and trashed his family. Ego did nothing. Didn't want to comment on it. Well, it's like a pick and choose game on here. Who do you want to attack? Okay, who's on here a lot, and who would be a good person to attack? And that's like, the assessment they have to make on that. Then they start attacking people and all that shit. That's kind of how it works. I make an assessment. Who told the truth about me? That's the question. Oh my gosh, that's some strong dressing. They make an assessment about this. Well, who can I go after? Who told the truth about me and got the feelings hurt and hit a nerve somewhere? And that's when they react to it. It's been amusing to me. This whole thing has been quite amusing to me, actually. You see that one video he had on that I did put on? And he's like, following this chick. It was like not a chick, it was actually a lady boy. He was like, right, she had this like blonde colored hair, and all you see is the ass and the jeans and strutting down the road. Did you see that one I had on? That was his. Okay, excuse me. When is enough enough? I wasn't even that oversexed when I was a fucking teenager, man. I mean, what drives this guy? Is that what they call him, big ego? Because, boy, does he have an ego even worse than Barry. Reach 5 says, hit the like button. Even the lurkers from Discord. Michael says, Frank, may I ask, does his financial clouts concern you if you enter legal battle with him? No, it don't. Either you got something valid or you don't. That's all it is. Unless you want to go pay off the authorities, which a lot of that goes on too. They got nothing better to do at the time. They got all this money, but then they move from place to place like they're running away from something. From Thailand, now in Vietnam. It almost seems like they're hiding. And how could his girlfriend make a report anyway on me? She's not even living in the Philippines. She's actually living in Vietnam. It doesn't pertain. That's a whole nother issue, but big ego and deep pockets has found heaven on earth in Southeast Asia. Well, it could be a heaven or a hell, just according to what you do with your life, man. When you're trying to do a balancing act with too many women involved, it gets ugly. Like what happened on that Facebook thing that everybody put around. When he was on his own Facebook and saying that he was having big problems with his current wife or whatever she is. That's why you always say without. I have no idea these days. I can't keep up with yeah. And he was definitely talking down on his wife or whatever she is indicating that she was after his money and got what she wanted and all that shit. And all of a sudden, they're buddy buddies again. I guess they must have written up a new contract or something. I guess he proposed something very amicable so that she doesn't go for the rest of his money. That's just what it seems to me. That's just what it seems to me. I've seen the Facebook post. I've seen it. It's not hearsay for me. I've seen the Facebook post. I noticed that he's. Oh, Regis says Ego originally fled to Vietnam. Yeah, that was about the same time. That was about the same time. He originally fled to Vietnam when his wife. Well, I got to scroll down again because a new message just came in. I got it. Hold on. Hold on. How do I get this down? Okay. Is it true that Frisbee is paying $500 a day while he's locked up? Well, this whole immigration thing is 500 pesos a day plus fines and penalties of 6.5+ years. So I got to do the math on that. Okay, let me move down to the comments here. Hugo says, big ego and deep power. Okay, seen that. Regis says, Ego originally fled to Vietnam when his wife was pissed at him. Yeah, I remember. He originally moved there after the pregnancy news on Honeyco got out. Yeah, the timing was about right on there, wasn't it? Yeah, your timing was like right on that, wasn't it? Yeah. Miko says, I notice he's never going back to California. Wait a minute. Let me get back to these messages. I noticed that he's never going back to California since he has been on YouTube. I find that very strange. There's a lot of things going on that you don't know about, guys. They're going to hide from you. They don't have exactly pristine backgrounds, most of these people. Regent says Cali is where one of his kids is from, the other's from Arizona. I wonder why he never visits them. Well, as I said, everybody has skeletons in their closets. They're not going to talk about until it comes out accidentally or somebody actually investigates it. Yeah. I find it fascinating, actually. These people are real free talkers about everybody else, but the shit they got going on in their lives, you wouldn't want to have any part of it at all. Trust me. You wouldn't have any part of it. I just finished a nice healthy salad. Very simple salad, but it was romaine lettuce with kidney beans, and there's a little tiny little bacon bits, but I don't usually eat bacon. She had some this morning, and I refused it. But she put some crumbles in there, and I got some blue cheese dressing in there. So that was pretty good, pretty healthy. Yeah, there's so many skeletons in their closet. You just can't count them. So many, you hear the clanging of the bones moving around every time, the wind moves or something. And they're so free to talk about everybody else on here like their shit doesn't stink, but there's a lot of shit stinking going on behind the scenes. And it tends to come out on its own by accident or somebody does the research, I don't know. He works for this company, and he's supposed to be a representative for his company. A good representative. But maybe they don't care what goes on in your private life. But as long as it don't affect their job. But he's using this company for these free trips, and he's taking advantage. I think, in my opinion, of doing these trips and having all these little liaisons every country that he goes in. With women, obviously. And he's throwing his wallet around. But basically his job, now he says he makes $650 an hour. Okay. Well, that's according to how many times does he actually go and do a sales spiel, for the company that he works for, the, HVAC type materials for hospitals and sanitization, all that stuff. I'm familiar with what he does. I know exactly what he does. And the company too. Exactly. He knows that. He knows that very well. Um, so I think he's a horrible representative. That's what I think. But I guess what he does with his personal life, it does, as long as it doesn't affect his professional life. Okay, that's another thing. What their employers don't really know about them. I wonder if they'd ever hire him. Really, tell you the truth. Miko says, as an observant, I find it intriguing how the kids are on constant holiday with no schooling. They haven't been in a classroom in two. Yeah, yeah, I noticed that too. And he's talking about parenting and all this shit. And my girlfriend has 8 kids. And, well, what about her having 8 kids? That's always a topic on here. I mean, look at him. He's got like 5 children. And how many? 5 different mothers. I mean, come on. You want to talk about Gilda having 8 children? That's peanuts, man. I mean, that's so insignificant and irrelevant. So what? She could have 12. But she's always in her kid's life. She takes care of them. These kids are schooled. They're doing well. They're getting scholarships. She just attended I didn't go, but she attended an event yesterday for her youngest. He got yet another fucking award. And they were all getting awards with high grades, everything. And then the ones that are in their end of high school, they receive scholarships to go to college. I mean, they're doing very well. They're doing very well. 5 kids by 4 women. Wonder how many he supports. Fuck knows, man. Straight. My last visa expired on March 3rd.
Until March 3rd,
Right, till March 3rd,
2025.
2025. And where all this shit comes from, that I'm 6 months overstay, is a bunch of poppycock. Remember, I was allowed to do my visa 2 months ago, and it's good for, what was it now? 2 months? Yeah, there it was.
Yeah.
So March 3rd was the actual expiration, and where people are using quite a bit of hyperbole for effect.
May 3rd is a 2 months.
And the next to May 3rd would be 2 months.
Yeah.
And then it goes on from there. So, no, my visa, just for the record, just to set it straight, no 5 months, 4 months, 3 months. My visa had expired March 3rd. March 3rd. And we're in April. So, where does that add up to? 6 months. That's all I got to say.